Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, but
Now,
not only the state of Israel, which is a bigger thing, but I think it's the Zionism which is being supported by like you mentioned, only a handful of people, but they are very powerful as they control the politics around the world, especially of the countries that are more in prominent situations, and they can sort of one way or the other give them support and keep others suppressed. So that is very disturbing. And like you say, peaceful movements are not being followed by Zionists, and they go out of their way to make it a violent situation. So
true.
that's where it is very disturbing,
Yes.
and it is I would say through efforts of um constant reminders, I think, and we hope that this podcast will also emphasize that we are all for peace, and
Exactly.
doesn't matter who is committing atrocities and is engaged in violence, does not give you know get our support as far as the violent activities are concerned. But we should be supporting the helping situations and the improvement in education and overall, like you said, the living standards of especially the poor people to begin with, and then the others that can carry uh, that message and activity forward. Uh,
True, yeah. And this is indeed a small but increasingly significant number of Jewish intellectuals,
hmm,
philosophers, academics,
hmm,
and rabbis, most importantly,
Rabbis,
who have
yes.
raised their voices against this injustices carried out by the state of Israel.
Hmm,
So there are Jewish groups in US, such as Jewish Voice for Peace.
hmm,
Another one, if not now, it is saying
hmm,
Americans for Peace.
hmm,
And in Israel also there are such organizations. One is called B'Tselem. It is a Hebrew word
hmm,
which means for peace.
hmm,
And then there's another body, Peace Now.
hmm.
There is one, Rabbis for Human Rights, who
Wonderful.
support. Yeah. Now
Great.
these groups are both religious and left-wing socialists.
Hmm,
So religious groups, even B'Tselem,
hmm,
I think I'm not pronouncing it properly, and rabbis for human rights. Now they draw their arguments from the teachings of Torah and from the teachings of Judaism,
hmm,
and they say that Judaism is to uphold the human rights of all people,
hmm,
irrespective of their race or color. So that is so they drive that inspiration from the religion,
hmm.
you know. But unfortunately, these major Jewish organizations, they strongly lobby
Hmm.
for Israel in Western capitals in general and in US in particular.
That
So
is
some of
Zionism, really.
they are the Zionists.
Hmm,
Yeah, some of those names are the Anti-Defamation League,
hmm,
American Jewish Committee, American Israel Public Affairs Committee,
hmm,
and many others. And of course, as you could see, that is the case in UK, France, Canada, and even Australia, where the highly influential Israeli lobby has ensured bipartisan support
hmm,
for Israel for decades.
hmm,
And this has become a problem during current war, particularly.
hmm.
And now in Australia, because we have a larger Muslim population. So now we are getting some voice. We are reaching out in the parliament, and now Australian current government, it is a left-wing government. So they are, I think they have a softer heart, yet Jewish influence is such that even they cannot speak much against
That's right.
what is happening.
Yeah,
So
excuse me,
this is,
Zahid bhai, there's a question. You mentioned that even from the Jewish population, besides the rabbis supporting the cause for peace, there was some left-wing organization who are supporting the peace and agitating at least and crying out against the Zionism and all the atrocities that are being committed by the Israeli so-called government. So can you elaborate on those left-wing groups?
Well, I believe that some of these groups who are raising the voice for peace, some of them are left-wing groups. Yeah. And the left-wing groups are everywhere in every country on the planet,
Right.
And they come from they have the following in all the religions. So obviously,
thank God for that.
That's right. I mean, in the Palestinian, the PLO, the PLO was a socialist group, was a left-wing group of Yasser Arafat.
Right.
Yeah, and they fought the Palestinian they fought for Palestinian cause for decades. So those, I mean, left-wing groups stand for humanity.
That's right.
And as far as that part is concerned, I'm with them all the time.
Sure. Yeah, well, with any group, you pick and choose the ones that
exactly
that are permitted by your conscience.
That's right.
Yeah.
So as far as I mean, as you can see that in various countries, particularly in Western Europe, some countries have still been blindly supporting Israel. Germany is the main one. So I think they still carry on that stigma that they were responsible
that's quite
for Holocaust, and they are just trying to whatever you call it. So Germany has been still, despite all what is happening for past 2 months, but in Germany it is right wing and left wing. Both political parties still support Israel. That is very unfortunate. Whereas in other countries, I mean, like in France, there's a significant Muslim population also. They are also carry in that democratic system. They have some voting leverage as well. So from France, we have heard some good good arguments. I mean, even their president has been calling for ceasefire, and he has supported mildly, at least, the cause of Palestine. So in different countries, it depends really who are the ruling parties, how strong the Jewish lobbies are, and accordingly you see them reacting to current crisis.
So even in France, for example, there would be the left-wing parties, such as some sort of communist party, would probably be supporting the Palestinian cause and not necessarily following the Zionist arguments.
Certainly, they do. Yeah, and in Iran, in Ireland,
yes,
Ireland, that is the strongest voice
exactly
for Palestinians. I would say among all the countries on the planet, not only, even they have been standing up for Palestine even more than many Muslim countries are doing.
That's right. They are the most outspoken, actually. That's very true.
Exactly. They're happy. So let's hope that now these Jews themselves, they realize they're the best educated, they are intelligent, and they should search their souls and seek guidance from their own religious sources, in particular, and also those Abrahamic religious principles, and also from charters of modern day international bodies such as United Nations and other human rights organizations. And then they turn around and say, yes, enough is enough. Let's go for humanity rather than this war and destruction. So it is that is where we stand today. And
Yeah, just being
still,
a devil's advocate, you think that this Zionism is basically a grab money and because of that higher goal, grab land and real estate and all the rest of it. Is that really the driving force, or it's just because they think that
yeah,
you know, they just need to say that? Because I can't buy the argument that you can say that it's all to save ourselves. If you are so uh, what you call afraid, why have you created a situation to be in that place? So it is a bit of a complex problem that still puzzles me. That on the one hand, Israel talks about, you know, we have a right to live, but does that mean that you have a right to kill others? And
yeah,
well,
that is,
to an extent, it goes for Palestinians also, but they are in such a downtrodden situation. Only once in a while do they come back with an answer to all the atrocities that have been committed against them. So I'm I'm still at loss as to what the real purpose of Zionism is. It seems to me it's mainly financial gain and power because power leads to further financial gains and retaining that position. Now, what is your comment on that?
yeah, I think all the right-wing ideologies, rather all the
Hmm.
ideologies, and right-wing is on all sides, the
That's right.
religious extremism,
Yeah.
yeah. So all of them start with that some basic thought process
Mm.
which promotes they want to promote their superiority and
Mm.
they want to inflict injury to others.
Mm.
But as they grow, then they can see these financial gains, what you're talking about.
Mm.
Then that also becomes rather becomes the major driving force.
Driving force, yeah.
Exactly, yes.
It's
So,
the
and
oil
it
in the
has,
machine.
that's right, exactly. Oh, we wanted this, but there's so much more in there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
And then they start doing all that and they become blind. They get totally blinded uh, because there's so much more to gain, not only their ideological or religious superiority, but in terms of the power and the money, and that drives them to do even more horrible things. Yes, I will agree. Yeah.
Yes, and if you look at the history, the current atrocities and the atrocities that have been carried out in Palestine and all around Israel, uh, right from the 1948 onwards,
Yeah.
it's always been uh, more towards grabbing more land, yet claiming that we have a right to defend ourselves. And on
Sure.
top of that, if you compare what was done during Hitler's era,
Mm.
those atrocities fade away from all the uh, all the aspects of this calamity that has been going on for last 75 years, because they've gone on for such a long time. They've come, they have imposed such restrictions that they don't have any human uh, approach towards their uh, their population. So it is a very uncanny situation as far as I'm concerned, and I find it very abhorrent. And claiming back to Hitler's atrocities as being the reason for them to have a right to live. Now you have had 40, 75 years of much more problems you created for the rest of the uh, populace that you live with, and yet you claim that we have been uh, mm, what you call oppressed. So
True, yeah.
it is a very false argument as far as I'm concerned.
True, it is. It is. And to me, they should be rather more sensitive
Exactly.
to any oppression, because if their forefathers had gone through so much oppression and torture, they should be more sensitive to this, that what was done to our forefathers, we should not allow it to be done to anybody. And when they engage themselves, it is a strange human psychology. I also fail to understand that why humans cannot think deeper, and how they can be carried away with any false propaganda, with any false notions. It is very unfortunate. It is. It is.
Yeah, there have been some rays of hope, and especially those people, some of the folks that have gone through the Hitler's oppression, some of those who are living, they are all against this war.
That's
Some of the videos that have trickled through where those people who have been downtrodden during the Hitler's oppression, they come out and say, well, this is not right. Yet the Zionists carry on, and it's a political game and game for power and all the rest of it. And they're being supported by bigger powers, and that's why it continues. But anyway, in this short session, we cannot solve all the world's problems.
Yeah.
But we can at least highlight.
Media plays a huge role. One thing which we should have spoken a bit about is the media.
Yeah.
And who owns that media, and what is, within Israel, a recent survey said that almost 98% of Israelis think that the force Israel is using is either enough or not enough. They are not saying it is too much. So that is what Israeli media is feeding to them. That despite so much of torture and killing, they are very happy about it. See, they think that Palestinian children, they also deserve to be to be killed, because they will grow up and they will become terrorists. That is what media is feeding them. So it is absolute disheartening. It is heartbreaking.
And on the other hand, some balancing journalists have all been killed.
True.
In Israel.
That's right. It is. They have been killed. So they have targeted hospitals, they have targeted journalists, they have targeted every institution, and much more the ordinary people and the kids.
Thank you very much. We are almost out of time. We will come back to this topic if you have time, Zahid Bhai, and we wish you all the best with the IMESA and all your other activities that you're involved in. Thank you once again for your time. You may wish to say a few words to our audience as a parting sentence.
Thank you so much, Iqtedar Bhai, and keep up the good work. And I'm sure your audience, because you bring in such good topics and they must be interested in listening to these thoughts.